I think doctors live with death on sometimes a daily basis. We also see the best and the worst of deaths. And I think that we have had experiences with good and polished deaths. We've had experiences with very almost cruel deaths, where people have been kept alive far longer than they probably should have. And there was something I learned from talking to patients about this. And one of them was, a lot of our patients said that they wouldn't want to be a burden on others. And I think that if I were going to be a burden on my wife or other family members, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to be a burden on them. At my age, there are a lot of things that are really very important to me. I think for me, cognition is really important. That if I were in a situation where I would not be able to have meaningful cognition, that I would not want to continue. I think that if I were in a situation where I was not able to communicate with people, that would not be acceptable to me. And probably immobility. If I were bedbound, I don't think that would be sufficient for me. But these are all hypothetical situations, because whatever combination of those kinds of untoward outcomes, who knows which they're going to be. And one may be very predominant and one may be very mild. So each person's going to have to face this individually. And those are things that are important values to me. And I think that it would have to be in the context of those values. I think that, at this point in my life, if it was a long recovery, if it was a year and a half, and I could get a good outcome from it, I'm ready for it. I would do it. That might not be the case, if I were 95. So I think that this is something that constantly has to be reevaluated. I always talk with students about life insurance agents. They keep coming at you every time they got a milestone. You get married, you have a kid, you retire from your job, do you have enough life insurance, those kind of things. And I think these kind of conversations and decision process need to be reevaluated periodically. So at my age, you and I have had this discussion, and I've kind of told you where I am with this. And I'm glad you're documenting it, because maybe my wife will come to you because we have never had this discussion. But in 10 years, things may be very different. In what I see a lot in my patients is that when they've lost their spouse or lost their children, in those kind of losses, it really changes the game for them. When they've outlived their children and outlived their spouse, and they say, geez, I'm ready, and it's much less of an insult than if you have something to live for.